Good morning. My name is Reverend Kylie Renner, and on behalf of the entire One Spiritual Center community, I just want to welcome you here today. We got the diehards out here today. You guys are amazing. So if you don't live in Albuquerque, you won't know that we got snow last night, and it is quite cold this morning, and the snow is melting off of my roof and dripping over here, so we moved John so that he didn't have to sit in ice cold water and because it's now turning to ice as it melts and reforms into ice. And you know, honestly, growing up in Hawaii, this was never something I had to think about. So this morning's been an adventure, and if this whole pandemic hasn't taught me anything, what it has taught me is that being flexible works. So thank you for continuing to show up and show your love and be flexible with us as we figure out how to make all of this work and take care of one another in these really, really, really strange times. So I don't know. If you're feeling it, I'm feeling it this morning, and I think it's more important than ever that we remind each other that we're not alone and that there's something deeper moving and that we're part of that. And so I need to pray this morning because I'm feeling a little discombobulated. So let's do it. So just breathing into this morning, this beautiful, chilly morning. We remember we just open to an even deeper remembering as we allow ourselves to bring ourselves present. We allow ourselves to move into this space of recognizing the peace and the power and the wisdom of the One that is right here, right now inside of us. And I just recognize that wisdom is speaking to us today in its own particular way. And we allow ourselves to open to receive it in whatever form it takes, knowing that we receive and give exactly what we need to today, so that we may bring our full hearts and our clear sight to the transformation that is calling to us. So I just feel so blessed to be gathered here today to celebrate and to know and to remember, whether here in physical presence or if you're watching online. I just know that we are connected. And I allow this day to unfold. And I let it be. And so it is.
Talking with my mind, stayed on freedom. Walking and talking with my mind, stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Singing and praying with my mind, stayed on freedom. Singing and praying with my mind. Stayed on freedom, singing and praying with my mind. Stayed on freedom, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
So one of the blessings of having done this whole sermon writing thing for all of these years is that I sometimes go back and look at sermons I've given in the past to see if I can find inspiration. And I find that I find things that I never used before, but are particularly meaningful. And that happened this week when I went back to look through something. I also found something where I was like, I hope I didn't say that. So we all evolve, right? So this is a passage that comes from a book called Blessing of the Cosmos. and it was written, it was a translation done by Neil Douglas Coates of blessings that were uttered by Jesus, and he's translating them from the Aramaic. And this one really struck me this week, so I'm going to share it in preparation for our meditation this morning. Rejoice ye in that day and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For in the like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. So feel life's sharp point, the jab of circumstance at this one moment in time's harsh spotlight. Whatever is extremely bad, take the extreme part and use it to feel abundant, to make an inner leap, to be transported by the free energy it provides. These are your wages on the level of divine vibration, the world in which light, sound, and name mingle in the heart of the Holy One before it gave birth to everything we see. This fee, your reward, is in payment for the job of living your true image and purpose, the only worth doing. The prophets before you, those who listened to the voice always coming from within, received the same fee from their ancestors, who often confused their own confused reflection of the divine, knowing with what they think they see in you. And so we're just going to take this energy of the fees that we pay, that vibrational energy that we tap into, and we're going to allow the blessing of this meditation to move us this morning.
about John called Winds of Change. Tommy Flanagan, who's a great jazz piano player. Ready? One.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to rearrange this for a minute so that I can get some heat, please. Yes, you know what? We got a propane heater here, and I'm very grateful for it this morning. So, as I've been sharing recently, it's sometimes challenging to figure out what to say. Like, how do we put into context what's going on around us and some sort of spiritual understanding? And I often think, well, when I'm looking at what I should talk about for any given Sunday, I think about maybe, what I said the most to myself that week. What was I thinking about? And I was laughing yesterday because I think that what I said most this week was, oh, fuck. Like, oh, fuck. Like, what? Yes, this is where I'm at. So the other thing I ended up thinking about, though, is that Zephyr and I ended up having to go down south through southern New Mexico to pick up some furniture. And I kept looking out in the horizon. So some people would call that area, we were driving really desolate, right? There isn't a lot going on. But one of the things that reminds me is that your eyes can see really far. Like your eyes can see distances that we don't often allow them or have them see because we're surrounded by life. But then our eyes can only take us so far. Then we have to know, and we know that there's something beyond what our eyes can see. And so I kept thinking about that this week as we were driving. Like, there's only so far that my mind can take me with all of this. There's only so far I can try and make it make sense. Put it into some sort of context that makes meaning. And so I have to be able then to find some other thing inside of myself, some wisdom to bridge that gap. Because otherwise, I don't know about you, I've been feeling really agitated. Like, I don't know what's going on. And I don't know, because I don't know how to make it make sense. There's a what seems like a loss of control and all of those things, which then just makes none of us be able to operate in the way we want to be operating in the world. Especially because I believe we're being called to actually step up into a higher playing field of bringing what we really want to have happen to the surface in a deeper way. And so I kept thinking about this this week. Is like, okay, so my eyes can only take me so far. My mind can't make this make sense. So how do I start to move into a place where I am able to allow for a longer view to take place? So Mark Nepo has this piece that was resonating with me around this, and I want to share it with you. This is what he says. So often we anticipate for the uncovering of a truth a reward. For effort, we expect money and recognition. For sacrifice and kindness, we secretly expect acceptance and love. For honesty, we expect justice. Yet, as we all know, the life of experience unfolds with a logic all of its own. And very often, effort is seen and kindness is embraced, and the risk of truth is held at the foundation of how humans relate. However, the reward for breathing is not applause, but air. And the reward for climbing is not a promotion, but new sight. And the reward for kindness is not being seen as kind, but the electricity of giving that keeps us alive. And so here in this place where it feels like everything is really extreme and topsy-turvy, and we don't know what the results are, there's this deep call in me to remember that the reward of breathing is not applause but air, right? That it's not, that what we're here to do is deeper. That the rewards that we are working with are on a different playing field. So that is why I so loved that passage that I started with before the meditation, because it talks about that, and this line particularly is feeling really potent to me this morning, which is this: whatever is extremely bad, take the extreme part and use it to feel abundant. Right? Take that extreme part and unleash that energy, not the energy that is so focused on the occurrence, but instead the energy that is unleashed. And so he goes on to say, so that we will be transported by the free energy it provides. And so here we are in these really extreme, strange times. And it's an opportunity, I believe, to start to make sure that we're allowing our eyes to take us as far as they can go, because we need to be very, very clear right now and focused, and not closing our eyes and not going to sleep and not pretending that it's not dangerous what's happening around us. Like, we need our eyes to go as far as they can go, but then we have to let something else take over. And that's that place where this deep work that we do on a spiritual path provides us the rewards that are beyond what we imagined them to be, because they don't, as I keep on sharing with you, from my perspective, they don't prevent us from having life occur and the sharp and harsh things and the painful things, but instead allow us to embrace them in a bigger context. And so our eyes can take us so far, and then what are we going to let take over after that? Because if we let garbage take over, right, or untruth, we see what happens there, and it's playing out all around us. And so I keep thinking about this, and I keep thinking about the yearning that we have to be contained in this thing that makes sense, right? And I kept going back to that all week. I'm like, can I make this make sense? Like, how can logic play a role in this? And I honestly, like, there isn't room for that. There's something else that is being asked of us. And so I've been going back repeatedly to one of the modern teachers who's speaking about what's happening right now, and his name is Parker Palmer, and he's a Quaker teacher, and he's writing right now in the midst of all of this about his own process of trying to figure out his way through this. And he wrote something really quite beautiful recently that I want to share with you, partially because it's funny, and partially because I believe he's helping us get to that place of the question that's beyond where our eyes can see right now. And so he says, as the January 6th insurrection unfolded, I was shocked but not surprised. In March 2016, 8 months before Election Day, I published Will Fascism Trump Democracy? And we've been given the foothills of fascism for the past 4 years. I remain committed to civil dialogue across the lines that divide us, as I know is true of many of you, but that kind of bridge building has never been easy, and it will get harder in the near future now that the MAGA president has disgraced himself. I would add further to that sentence. And so what he says is, I'm not talking about dialogue with the guy in the horn helmet carrying a spear painted up as if he were in a Mel Gibson movie. That's above my pay grade. I'm talking about dialogue with people of the sort you and I have regular access to. Colleagues, neighbors, friends, and family members who embrace MAGA beliefs. They aren't violent people, but even in polite silence, they shore up a movement that endangers all of us in ways I don't think they understand. Then, of course, there are those online strangers. In response to my last post on this page, one reader replied with, "Go to hell." Not the first time I've been given that kind of travel advice since 2016. And I admired her editorial brevity and exemplary spelling, both of which are rare these days. And so I replied in kind with, "Already here." We all have vital local roles to play in the restoring of democracy. Even the best leaders can't do the job without us. But our task must be done from an inner place of nonviolence. For me, at least, that means a steady search for inner peace, even as I seek ways to bring peace to the world around me. As I've been working my way through a lot of inner agitation, the kind that consumes the kind that comes to some of us when democracy and the rule of law are attacked, the words of my longtime mentor, Thomas Merton, have helped settle me. And as I settled, I found a question that's helping me hold what's happening in a life-giving way. It reminds me to look for possibilities, not just problems, as I pick through the wreckage of January 6th. And this is the question: how can I creatively engage members, family members, friends, folks online, and other MAGA adherents in the urgent questions of this moment when democracy itself is on the line? That question puts me between a rock and a hard place, which feels like an honest place to be. On the one hand, I don't want to miss the good that's in most people, no matter how toxic their politics may be. And on the other hand, I cannot play the game of false equivalencies, as if conspiracy theories like QAnon and election rigging are in the same league with demonstrable facts. Gray areas abound in life, but some things are either true or false, right or wrong. And at the moment, I have no clear answer to my own question, but because it feels life-giving to me, I'm not going to lay it down. I think it's a question worth living into, and maybe to steal from Rilke, find myself one distant day living into an answer. In the meantime, companionship and a sense of humor help. And so I felt so deeply that he understood this kind of space where our eyes have taken us, our logic, our precedents, our everything that have come before, and how we think things are going to unfold. Like all of that has taken us as far as it can take us. We need to use some new tools. And these new tools are some questions that are deeper. And I have to tell you that I had to engage in this idea of false equivalencies and it being the same with a ministerial colleague this week, and trained in the same tradition. And I engaged in it from the perspective that it is dangerous to continue to perpetuate the idea that what oneness teaches us is that it's okay to act on the side of something other than love. And I engaged in it, and I didn't want to, and I got attacked. But what I know is I am engaged in this deeper conversation that Parker is talking about, which is how do I bring this which I know is true, that there are tons of gray areas, and then there's not, and that there's this space in which we're being called to stand for that which we know is true, and to stand for it in a way that creates something new out of itself. And so I always love it when people are asking these deep questions, and a lot of people around me have been asking, well, how do we move forward? Like, how do we even do this? And I always go back to a quote that I'm going to paraphrase from Buckminster Fuller, which is that the way we move into new systems is that we make the old ones obsolete. We create something that is so much more powerful that it's just where the energy goes. And I think that this is a necessary perspective right now, because I once again don't think logic is how we fix this. Can't unlogic out untruth. Like it doesn't work. We can't deprogram that. And so how do we create something that's just so beautiful and powerful and creative and full of all of the things that we all want, no matter what part of the spectrum we're in, and that we unleash that energy in a way that allows for something different to happen. And so that's where I'm my eyes can't see it yet, right? As far as my eyes can see, that's not here yet. But what my inner self and my inner sight can see is that it is possible that we create something bigger that allows for us to focus on the real thing that we should be focused on, because it's really easy to get focused on the things that aren't what we really need to be focusing on. And that's really easy right now, especially because it's like, oh, shiny thing over here that we can be outraged about. Oh, here's another one. Oh, be outraged again. Certainly we need to know what's going on. I am a full proponent of that, but we also need to be focused on what we really need to be focused on. And so I have a story about that, about a factory that was having a problem with employee theft, and there were valuable items going missing every day. And so they hired a security firm to search the employees as they left at the end of the day. And most of the workers willingly went along with emptying all their pockets and their bags and showing them their lunch boxes. But one man would go through the gate at closing time with a wheelbarrow full of trash. And the security guard would have to spend half an hour, when everyone else was on their way home, digging through the food wrappers and the cigarette butts and the styrofoam cups to see if anything valuable was being smuggled out with the trash. And he said to the man, look, after a while, he just couldn't stand it anymore. And he said, look, I know you're up to something, because every day I check every day I check every little piece of trash here, and I never find anything worth stealing, and it's driving me crazy. You have to tell me what's going on. And he said, I promise not to report you. I just really need to go to know what you're doing. And the man shrugged and said, it's simple. I'm stealing wheelbarrows. Ha ha. But the reason I'm sharing this story right now is we got to make sure that we're not so focused on the trash. Do you get my analogy? That we forget about the wheelbarrow? That we forget about what's really driving and pulling and moving us? That we forget about the bigger vision? That we forget about the possibility? That we forget about all of that because we're just so wrapped up in the drama of it? And the drama is important to know about, but it is also not necessary that we engage in it the way that it is that people want us to engage in it. That we are being asked to let our wisdom guide us in a deeper way, and we have the power to do this. So I have one last piece to share with you. Which is the continuation of that Mark Nepo piece I started with earlier, where he talks about the risk of being human and relating, and the rewards that come. And so this is what he says. It seems the closer we get to the core of all being, the more synonymous the effort and its reward. Who could have guessed? The reward for uncovering the truth is the experience of honest being. The reward for understanding is the peace of knowing. The reward for loving is being the carrier of love. It all becomes elusively simple. The river's sole purpose is to carry water, and as the force of water deepens and widens the riverbed, the river fulfills its purpose more. Likewise, the riverbed of the heart is worn open every time we carry what is living. All this tells us that no amount of thinking can eliminate the wonder and pain of living. No wall of avoidance or denial can no cause or excuse can keep the rawness of life from running through us. While this may at times seem devastating, it is actually reassuring, because while the impermanence of life, if fixed on, can be terrifying, leaving us preoccupied with death, this very same impermanence, if allowed its infinite frame, can soothe us with understanding that even the deepest pain will pass. And so here are other words that say that we take that, which is extreme, and we unleash that energy, and we remember that there's something deeper going on, and that this will pass. And we hold each other in that today, and we hold our country in that as well. And so I'm going to ask the band to come on up, and we're going to anchor in some prayer. We're going to sing into our prayer today. And so if you want to think as we prepare for that, maybe of some place where you've been holding on to what's going on with the energy of trying to make it make sense, and that's not working, that maybe we allow for the wisdom of Spirit to guide us in holding a bigger context, so that we may be reassured of that bigger vision. And so please join me as we sing into our prayer.
Our prayer of love lifts us high. It heals us, sustains us, and sets us free. Our prayer of love lifts us high. It heals us, sustains us, and sets us free. Our prayer of love lifts us high. It heals us, sustains us, and sets us free. Our prayer of love lifts us high. It heals us, sustains us, sets us free.
And so our prayer of love today is a prayer of unleashing a deeper wisdom that resides inside of all of us. A wisdom that takes over when our logic and our mind can't go any further. And I just allow that wisdom to wash all over and through us, to pour through us comfort and love and peace, so that we may more powerfully participate in the deeper questions that are calling us right now, personally and collectively. And I just know that this is the right moment for us to be bringing all of that wisdom that's inside of us to the surface, holding nothing back from this transformational process that is called life. And so we approach all of these extremes and turn them into abundance. We unleash that energy that has the power to heal and transcend and transform, and we use it. We don't hide from it. We're not scared from it, from our own power. In fact, we relish that power because there is inside of it everything we've been looking for, and that's been looking for us. And so I just know that the wisdom of the divine will continue to guide us in expected and unexpected ways, and we continue to be available to it. Because that's why we're here. It's no mistake we're on this planet at this time. And so we open ourselves to accepting our part in the transformation that is calling us, for doing our part. And we allow the wisdom to guide us in this. And we trust in it. And we let it be. And so it is.
Our prayer of love lifts us high. It heals us, sustains us, and sets us free. Our prayer of love lifts us high. It heals us, sustains us, and sets us free. Okay. This one's not quite as fast, so I might be okay. This is a John Coltrane too. Yeah, that's pretty fast. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you guys, and thank you for being so brave. It's hard to play music when your fingers won't move because they're so cold. It's also hard to play music when your glasses fog up, so you can't read the music. So we've had a lot of that challenges recently. So you guys are amazing. Thank you. And thank you for everyone for continuing to love and support us in this community. Thank you to my husband who's over here freezing his butt off. Thanks, Zephyr. So we have baskets hanging in the trees if you'd like to make a donation here in person. Also on our website, onespiritualcenter.org, there's a place to do a donation there. Thank you so much for continuing to support what we're doing here. And for being so, I don't know, flexible is not the right word. There's something else. There's something deeper going on. So thank you for your love and the love that you show for each other. And we have some special prayer requests in our community this week. So if you have any, if your mind brings you to this community this week, please hold some of our members in prayer. Lots of big stuff going on. So thank you for joining me in that. And I believe that we are ready to sing. So please join us.
Let's give thanks to the Lord, and we can Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's give thanks to the Lord and we can feel alright. People get ready for the trains of children, picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key, open the doors of boredom. There's room for all that love the most. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's give thanks to the Lord and we can feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright.
And we have one last blessing to sing to one another.
Go forth and walk in beauty and know that we are one. Ready, gentlemen? One, two, three.